like this.
And then I read
Fair point.
I read through your comments from like, I don't know who they are. I think maybe, I don't know,
Yeah,
friends or
that's right.
something.
Well, I don't know who. Most of the people that their name, I don't know who they are. I have to click on their picture. You know, I'm like, who is Invalid Sam? Sam from class.
Sam J.
No, Sam Catry. Remember he was in our class and then he had to take band. Remember?
Yeah.
I remember. My mom follows you.
Yeah, Q's Jules. I like it.
That's my mom.
Which one's me, man?
More pictures than I have.
You're like Andrew Jazzy or something like that.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I don't have stuff.
I'm just 99.
With an underscore. Yeah.
Just is already taken.
All right, so just real quickly, so like the Greece, this part has been controlled by like everybody. The Greeks were here, the Romans were here, the Byzantine Empire, the Ottomans, and what's so cool is that like we've studied all these people, you know, in AP, and it's just cool to like be where they did all their stuff. So the Ottomans were the longest lasting. We remember that, like 600 years. They went right up to World War II or World War I, and then after World War I, Ataturk took over, and since then this has been a republic. Which, by the way, they have elections coming up next week. So like every advertisement is like elections. And yesterday they had like I don't know what the political parties are, but there were two political parties in like the same courtyard, and one had a van blasting music and everybody was dancing, and the other one had the other one had people like just sitting in lawn chairs with their arms crossed. It was like perfect. You're like, this is the fun party. This is the old curmudgeons. I mean, it was like so amazing.
Welcome to America.
So the first thing, and we read a little bit about this in our book, was the Hagia Sophia. So this was built by Justinian in the Byzantine Empire, and it was an Orthodox church. And to this day, it's like the second biggest church in the world. There's one bigger in St. Petersburg or something, and it's the oldest though. So they like to call themselves the oldest, biggest church. But then when the Ottomans rolled into town, they decided to make it a mosque. And then when the country became secular, the country made it a museum. So this is just the outside of it. It's massive. So you can see the minarets along the side there. And the climate's really interesting because it's like the amazing Mediterranean climate. So there's like palm trees, but then there's also like evergreen trees. The weather's great. And then these are two on the inside. So the one on the left, you can see on the way left of that picture, it has like some scaffolding. So half the church I couldn't even see. Like this thing is so humongous, it's unbelievable. And it was built in 500, so it's 1,500 years old or whatever. But you can see on the left, like both the Muslim and Christian influence. So the two big round things, they have Muslim calligraphy because they don't do pictures. And then between them, you can see the picture of Jesus, which is the one that's a close-up over on the right-hand side. So what's interesting about that one is when the Muslims took over the Sophia, they actually plastered over all of the pictures because they don't believe in idols. So, between the time when the Ottomans came in the 1430 or whatever, and when they fell 600 years later, that picture of Jesus was plastered over, along with all the other pictures. But then when the government made it a museum, they unplastered it. So now it's got both the Muslim things and the Christian things. So it's just amazingly beautiful. And then we went to the Blue Mosque, and this was built by the Ottomans. And so something I didn't really realize was that before that, like the Ottoman background, the people who were the Ottomans were Muslim. They were shamans, and so they believed that God was watching from the sky, and the sky is blue. So blue is like super important to Ottoman architecture and decoration. So this mosque is called the Blue Mosque, not because like the outside is blue, but because the inside is blue. So this is the Blue Mosque, and you can see the minarets. And this was built by whatever sultan was the 16th. So each of these minarets, each level where it has like a balcony, has 16 kind of like posts in it. And you can see if you look closely, the loudspeakers on the minarets, that's where the call to prayer is announced to the community. And then next to every mosque is a courtyard. And like the courtyard is just as important as like the mosque itself. So like you would enter the mosque to the left in this picture, and this is kind of the outside of it. And it's just like absolutely gorgeous with the architecture and the tile work and all the stuff that went into it. And then before Muslims go into a mosque to pray, they have to do an ablution, which is them basically, they have to wash their feet and wash their hands. And so outside every mosque are all of these are spigots where you can sit on these little benches and wash your feet and wash your hands and wash your head before you go in and pray. And what's really neat about the town is that there's water everywhere. So they have like open drinking fountains that look like these that you can just go up and get water from that are not by a mosque to wash yourself with before you go in and pray. So this is inside the Blue Mosque, and it's amazing. This picture doesn't do justice to how gorgeous it is. So all of that blue up there all those are tiles. Obviously, we're all hand painted. And there's like lots and lots of smaller domes around the main big dome. And then underneath, now it has electricity, but before it didn't have electricity. So these, where you see the lights would be candles back in the day. And so underneath that is the area where the Muslims would actually pray. And this is so big that it can hold 3,000 worshipers at the same time. So, it's massive. This is the main dome, and then you can see the ones around the outside. And so, again, you see all the blue. Blue is so important to the Ottomans who built it. But just the intricacy is fantastic. And then when Justinian came along, he needed to get water on regular supply here. So he created cisterns. So underneath the ground, he basically created these reservoirs to hold water that he pumped in with aqueducts from around the city. And they were made using these huge pillars that he had taken from other pagan temples around the empire. So he basically would take, because he was Eastern Orthodox Christian, so he would take the pillars from the pagan places here, and they built this underground, and they were so smart that they built it to be earthquake proof, so when the ground shakes, they were flexible. So they've withstood all these terrible earthquakes over the years. So this is kind of on the left is what they look like. This is all underground. Back in the day, the water would have been filled up pretty high, almost up to the ceiling, because this would have been a reservoir. And you couldn't really go down in here because water was just pumped in, and it was a place for it to stay. And then over on the left is most of the pillars just kind of look like pillars, but they haul them from all over the place. So the one on the right is a pillar that has Caligula's head as the bottom of it. And again, because it was underground and underwater, they didn't really care that, she's on the side of her head or anything like that. They were just using them to hold up the structure, right? So, just something to be built 1,500 years ago underground like this and still be around today. It's amazing to think of. And then the last thing is the palace. So this is where the sultans lived. There were 27 sultans, and I want to say 24 of them lived here. And it's basically 4 sections, which they call gardens, and each one got closer and closer to the strait, water, and closer to where the Sultan was actually living. So these are just pictures that show like the immaculateness of the place, and then how inventive they were. So on the left is just like a corridor, and you can see all the tile work and stuff like that. On the right is one of the Sultan's rooms, and what they would, this was right overlooking the water. So they would have cold water pumped in here, and the cold water would constantly be running. And this is next to a window, and then the breeze from the Mediterranean would blow through the window and across the water, and it would be like an air conditioning system. So it would cool down the Sultan's place of residence. And these were found in a lot of rooms of upper class people, you know, and so it's just amazing the things that they came up with. This was the Sultan's throne, and so like this is where he would meet dignitaries and ambassadors and things. And it's kind of like a think of like two king-size beds right next to each other, and the Sultan would sit on this, and this is where people would come to meet the Sultan. And it's supposed to like represent their nomadic background, so it's supposed to be kind of like a tent. But you know, this place was so opulent that it kind of lost its nomadic tent lifestyle. But only the Sultan was allowed to sit on it. So he would be on this bed all by himself, and then people would come in and meet him and talk to him about whatever. And this is like 3 layers into the palace. And then this was the entryway that you would go through to meet the Sultan. So you'd have to walk through a couple gardens, and then you get here, and then you go in a little bit further, and you'd actually see him on his throne. And then all his private rooms had these amazing domes. So this is the dome inside the room that he would meet with his cabinet or his advisors in, and it's just breathtaking how beautiful it was and how long this must have taken to build. And then these are kind of his private quarters. So this is all the way into the palace. These were completely overlooking the water. And like he would be living in the far one, and then over here to the left, like white ones, were where he would meet people, or where his favorite wife would live there, or maybe the queen mother would live there. So if it was, you know, the mother of the Sultan might live there. And then this is kind of what it looked like from the outside. Again, the blue, and just beautiful. And then this is what it looked like from the inside. Again, they're like big couches. Everybody sat low to the ground. So just pretty cool. Took my breath away and stuff a lot of times. So that's what I got for pictures, people.
Whoa.
Do you have any other questions? Yes? No?
Do you have any questions for us?
Yeah, do you have any questions for us?
Let's turn the tables here.
I do. Number one, people who took the AP test, how'd it go?
Oh, 0 questions on Rome.
Yeah.
Absolutely
Yeah.
0.
Nada.
Nothing.
It was 4 hours long.
Nada.
Nothing.
Yeah.
There was not a question on Rome.
No,
question.
I think we went. I think all of us. Did you guys go? Like, I went too fast and I wrote my essay.
I did.
30 minutes left. I'm like, oh.
The
So, what were the essays
We can't
about? Like, what,
all the essays?
No, you can't. It's actually.
Okay, so this-
just. Okay.
The similarity ones was between the Indian Ocean and the Silk Roads.
Yeah.
They mentioned influenza, which we never learned, and I was
No,
sitting there like,
the DBQ
what?
That's
The
was about
DBQ
the
was
Spanish
about the
flu.
flu.
Like,
Oh,
just like
in
general
1918.
flu?
you know what the influenza is?
Go over it. So I was like,
And then the continent,
Yeah.
and changed them. That was about Latin America and the Caribbean.
yes.
Or,
Okay.
no, or for North
Or North America.
Okay.
There was everything on World War I and II, and everything after that. There was nothing on Rome though.
There's like 2 questions on the Aztecs. That was pretty much it for.
And then it was all
Yeah,
like
bring up-
post World War
No.
It was like 20th century history.
I.
Yeah.
It was basically U.S. history.
That's so lame.
I should have signed up. We did world history.
I'm gonna write a strongly worded letter.
You should.
Dear
Dear
sir.
sirs, So seniors, you guys are almost done.
All three of us.
All three of you and Bridge. Are you guys ready? Are you excited?
Yes.
The real world.
Good. It's neat.
Oh, I'm moving away, so
Yeah, he is. It's sad.
Where?
we don't know yet. My mother got laid off, so
Oh.
we're going somewhere.
Like the top marketing lady at Kellogg's got laid off, so expect.
I'm sorry, dude.
Oh well.
Are you gonna keep the bed bug business?
Nah.
No.
Indiana.
Florida,
There's nothing in Indiana. What's in Indiana?
Corn.
It's an empty state.
Market research for corn.
For corn.
Indiana's a beautiful state.
I hate Indiana.
I don't even have to see the sign. Like this